Greetings, Judah. DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey guys, just want to take a moment and just bring something, to your attention. And this is in regard to the protest. And I know a lot of our people got involved in this whole Black Lives Matter movement protest, especially as it related to George Floyd. And many of you guys have been going into, different areas in your city. And some of you guys even traveled up to D.C., up to Lafayette Square, to be a part of a national protest. And this is something, that I want to bring forward, to bring to your attention. And in a way, I kind of feel like I'm becoming a news reporter, but I am not. But there's certain information out there that maybe you haven't taken notice of, Judah, that you need to see. I've shared with you in many past videos that Yah has told us don't participate in these worldly events, including protests. There's nothing to be accomplished by us going out there, putting our lives on the line on a protest for police violence, when we know that's not going to change. Police are not going to stop. The police are the arm of the military, which is the arm of the government that is in place to control you. They protect and serve them. They police you, us, Judah. That was the whole creation of the police force. Former slave catchers, paddy wagoners, or what they call them. That was the whole purpose of policing and sheriffing was to keep you enslaved or keep you in some form of subjection. If you were in the northern states, or the southern states, they applied their police force, the brutality of their police force to make sure that any point in time that we as a people resisted anything that they were to do, they had a brutal, vicious, local militia called police to beat, kill, murder, maim, and rape to keep you under subjection. That's where the whole white citizen council come from. Think about it. Let me give you a quick little example. Remember the civil rights workers? I know their names, Cheney, Swerner, and Goodman, but that's irrelevant. Back in 1965, that wasn't 100 years ago, just for the record. It was the police officers who conspired to kill those 3 young men. Police, the local police in Philadelphia, Mississippi, that's who conspired, and that's who actually murdered those 3 men for voting, or for really voter registration activism. Okay? And so what my point is, that's just a small example. We've seen the many, Eric Garner. You don't need me to go through all of that. But let's get back to the body of what I'm going to be reading to you. I just want you to know, Judah, that the scripture tells us, let's go back, not the scripture, but the epistle, 2 Timothy chapter 3, 1-5 says, in the last days, perilous times are going to come. And it goes on to tell you what those perilous times are going to look like. I guarantee you, if you go pick up you get your King James Version of the Bible, or the Cipher Bible, or whatever Bible you're reading out of, you go to 2 Timothy chapter 3, read 1-5, and you tell me, how could 2,000 years ago they could have so easily and clearly identified most of you and most of mankind? Read it for yourself. I'm not going to read it for you. If you care to know, to validate what I'm saying, or to challenge what I'm saying, read it for yourself. And you watch what you read, and you're going to realize that we are in the last days without question. But in regards to these protests, let me read something to you so you understand what the government has in store. Now the government, they were conspiring to do this to you, Judah. That's why you need to stare your asses out of these protests. This is what they were conspiring to do to you behind your back, behind closed doors. Your government, who you think you need to be out there voting for in the next, 60 days. Your government. Since most of you guys saying, we got a voice and we never gonna have a voice, and we don't. So you're just saying, if we vote for 45, if we don't vote, then 45 gonna get reelected. This has nothing to do with 45. This government is set in place to do exactly what this government has always done to you. Keep you subjugated. All of those Jim Crow laws and segregation laws and vagrancy laws, what else? Black codes. All over federal government programs, guys. State sovereignty programs. That had nothing to do with the president. These are what the states wanted done. And the government set on the side and let the states do it. As a matter of fact, I can take you way back to 1850, Dred Scott. Dred Scott was a slave who escaped across the Mason-Dixie line into Missouri. And when the slave captors came to take him back, he filed a federal appeal against, or had lawyers file a conjunction for them not to take him back into slavery, because he had gotten there by his own accord, or however he got there. But he figured, if I'm in a free state, then they can't force me back into slavery. You know what Judge T.I.E said to him? I said to the court and made it law that there was no laws written in the book. This is what the law said. There's no law written in the books that white men had to honor as it related to black men. Because black men, at the end of the day, are 2/3 of a human being. In other words, animals. And that law has not been flipped over. I know you'll say, well, what about the 13, 14, 15 amendments? What about them? What about them? Can you honestly say that the 13, 14, 15 amendment has been applicably applied? Again, I just gave an example in 1965. So if the 14th Amendment, if my memory serves me correct, is the right to vote, 14 or the 15th, then why 100 years later they were killing people for voter registration? If those amendments meant anything to you, Judah, to our people. See, this is a common sense approach to understanding the time that you're in, and understanding the people who are in place to limit your accessibility, your access, and at the end of the day, to annihilate you if you do not submit to them. Therefore, when you go out there and protest, here's what they have in store for you. Just so you know, I'm going to read something to you. Check this out, Judah. Okay, this is CNN Politics. Army National Guard major told Congress that the feds, which is the federal government, requested heat ray and stockpiled ammunition before clearing the D.C. protests. You heard what I said, right? Heat rays. What the hell is a heat ray? And what does a heat ray got to do with anything? Well, I'm going to tell you. Because it was you, Judah, that was there. They didn't give a damn about what they were going to do to you. But check this out. Federal officials looked into getting a heat ray that makes targets' skin feel like it's burning and amassed thousands of rounds of ammunition in preparation for clearing a peaceful protest in Lafayette Square in June, according to Rittenhouse testimony from an Army National Guard major who was at the scene. You heard that? They were stockpiling ammunition to kill your asses out there. And you think this is a joke. You think that these people give a damn about you. You think that these people are taking these protests lightly. And heat rays that will make your skin feel like it's on fire. This is what they were conspiring to do. This is a major in the military who went before Congress and said that's exactly what they were planning to do to you, Judah. For all of you Judahs who are absent-minded, in other words, not in your right mind, thinking that somehow or another, you know, that this nation is going to be able to embrace Yah's people. Yah said that they're not going to embrace you. The end of them is the beginning of you. They got to go. And they know they have to go. So they're going to do everything in their power to stay. 2 Ezra 6 and 9. It goes on to read. Major Adam DeMarco describes such preparations, including officials' failure to acquire a loud announcement device for warning protesters to disperse. In an August letter responding to follow-up questions after he testified before the House Committee on National Resources in June about federal officers' efforts earlier that month, DeMarco, who described himself as one of the senior National Guard officials on the scene, ran as a Democrat for the Maryland's 3rd Congressional District 2018. So all of you Democrats out there, just so you know. News of the contents of DeMarco's letter was first reported by NPR. In the letter, DeMarco wrote that Defense Department's head military police officer for the National Capital Region emailed him and others on the day of the protest, asking if the D.C. National Guard had a long-range acoustic device, which can blast the walls of thousands of sound at thousands of protesters, or active denial systems which feature a direct energy beam, heat ray. A direct energy beam that provides sensations of intense heat on the surface of the skin. DeMarco wrote that he responded saying that the National Guard had neither device and that to his knowledge, no such occultist device was used at Lafayette Square, to his knowledge. When he looked into getting the acoustic device the next day, the DC National Guard told him that they were no longer seeking it. That's how close it came being used on those idiots, Judah, you follow me, who went out there with them heathens. Therefore, the U.S. Park Service warning to disperse did not come from that system, but from a red and white megaphones that DeMarco saw used, he wrote. He referenced in his in-person testimony that even 30 feet from the megaphone, the warnings to disperse were barely audible, and I was only able to discern several words, while the front line of the protesters was even further away from the warning. They didn't know how close they came to really taking a serious hit. Don't forget about the stockpile of ammunition that they had too. He also referenced a weapons transfer to the DC National Guard the afternoon of the protest that he later learned contained approximately 7,000 rounds of ammunition. So the next time, Judy, you decide to go out there, just understand that you're going into a war zone and you're making yourself sitting ducks for these vicious devils to wipe you out. I was going to say wipe your ass out, but I decided not to say wipe your ass out, although I said it. Federal agents face criticism for using smoke canisters and rubber bullets to clear peaceful demonstrations who were in Lafayette Square protesting institutionalized racism and police brutality. See, that's how they feel about you challenging that their strong arm of white supremacy. That's how they feel about you challenging their strong arm of white supremacy. These people don't have a guilty conscience. Remember that bullshit the police were kneeling a while back and paying I guess in paying homage to George Floyd. Remember that a while back? They all kneeled and everybody was saying, see, look at that, look how look how what's the word they say when someone is sorry for doing something? I want to say contrite. That might not be the right word, but see how contrite they are. See, they're really not bad guys. Bullshit. You were out there, some of you all were out there, or you know people were out there this past June, only a month and a half ago. Right? Only a month and a half ago, 2 months ago to be exact. Out there protesting, and they were about to slaughter your asses. That's how they felt about it. And they were going to use the police force to do it. And they were going, and the reason they were doing it because you were protesting against so-called racial injustice, as though your protest means something to this federal government. Not a damn thing it means to this federal government. And it was the military. It wasn't Donald Trump. It was the military conspiring to do it to your ass. The feds. When Donald Trump is gone, the feds are going to still be there. The same feds that have been there all the way through the history of our journey in this country under white supremacy, racism. It goes on to say the move sparked an outcry from lawmakers and public figures. Federal agents face criticism for using smoke canisters and rubber bullets to clear peaceful demonstrators who were in Lafayette Square protesting institutionalized racism and police brutality following the death of George Floyd at the hands of the police. The move sparked an outcry from lawmakers and public figures, including former Defense Secretary James Mattis, with Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser slamming the incident as an attack against the protesters, which it actually was. Law enforcement dispersed the crowd just prior to President Donald Trump's controversial photo op at a nearby church, where he held up a Bible after he declared himself as the law and order president. The incident has come to epitomize Trump's stance against widespread national unrest. He has promised to crack down in a key tenet of his re-election campaign. Now, that's the politics of this bullshit. Erase that shit, guys. This is about you. This is against you. This ain't about Donald Trump. That's how they try to deflate this shit. We're going to kick your ass, but we're going to blame Donald Trump, although we're the ones kicking your ass. And been kicking ours long before Donald Trump was in politics. We've been getting brutalized, murdered, slaughtered by these police. Donald Trump wasn't president when the young brother, what's the brother with the hoodie? Trayvon, what is it, Trayvon Martin? Trayvon Martin, I think it was Trayvon. Walter Scott got shot down in the back. Or Eric Garner choked out Elton Sterling, got murdered by the police. Donald Trump wasn't president. Philando Castile. Donald Trump wasn't president at that time. What about police brutality during that time? So you see how they're trying to conflate this. Oh, by the way, President Obama, former President Obama, was the president during that time, and I don't remember him coming up with any laws to hold the police accountable. If anything, he got behind the police on it. Called us a bunch of thugs, if my memory serves me correctly. I continue. A Defense Department official briefed on the matter minimized DeMarco's account, the Post reported, and asserted that emails inquiring about particular weapons were routine in assessing available inventory. Yeah, bullshit. The official also told the paper that federal police failed to acquire a heat ray device during the early days of the demonstrations in that city. In his appearance before the committee in June, DeMarco testified that tear gas was in fact used, in contrast to official accounts from federal officials. I can feel the irritation in my eyes and nose, and based off my previous exposure to tear gas and my training at West Point and later in the Army training, I recognize that irritation as effects consistent with CS or tear gas, DeMarco told the panel. Later that evening, I found spent tear gas containers on a street nearby. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that to your attention, guys. Heat rays. I'm not telling you about HARP, DARPA, or some of these weapons that these devils have concocted through the fallen angels. See, the fallen angels have taught Esau, Edom, all kind of wicked devices to go after God's people, you and I. They don't use them on themselves. These things were for us. What have you heard them talking about using heat ray machines and big, irritating sound wall machines when white folks have protesters on anything? You've never heard such stuff. Never. In a peaceful protest. But see, there's no peaceful protest when Judah is present. Everything with Judah is we got to kill them and keep them in their place. We got to let them know who's in charge. But there's Judah joining up with the white devils out there talking about Black Lives Matter, and the homosexuals. And you're going to get yourself slaughtered. These people are sitting there plotting, and one of these days they're going to rain fire from the skies on your ass, just as Revelation said, Judah. You better come out from among them. You better separate yourself from these folk. Better go back and read 2 Timothy, as I mentioned to you a moment ago, chapter 3, verses 1 through 5, and get a better understanding what's really going to happen and what's coming your way. And in closing on this particular message, yesterday I attributed this whole thing around forced vaccination on the Massachusetts governor. Even though I said Ned Lamont is the Connecticut governor who said that he's going to get with the black preachers and have the black preachers hoodwink through the black church to get Judah to take these vaccines. And it's real interesting to me because you think that if he really gave a shit, why didn't he go about who's going to take the vaccine and how important it was that people get vaccinated, right? So that they could kill this pandemic, so-called COVID-19 pandemic. Why did he go to the Southern Baptists? So Southern Baptists, second to the Catholics, is the biggest religious organization in America. Why didn't he go to the white preachers and have the white preachers tell that message to the white congregations all over the country? Why didn't he go to those guys? Why didn't he go to Charles Stanley? You know Charles Stanley, who's on every morning. I can't think of his program. Why didn't he go to Charles Stanley and those guys and tell Charles Stanley to tell that to his conservative Christians, congregants, those inside of his congregation, all the rest of them? Why did he go to the guy? What's the guy's name over in Dallas? Robert? I can't think of his name right now. He got a book called Hell Yes. If you look up the book Hell Yes, you'll know what I'm talking about. Why did he go to those churches? Because he knew that Esau would tell him, you must be out of your damn mind if you think we're going to make our children and our families guinea pigs for some shit that you know good and so damn well is not tested and not suitable to put in any human body. But yet when it came down to Judah, they had no conscience about that whatsoever. Let's go right to the so-called black church and let's go and pull them right into that. So again, to those of you who are in Massachusetts, my apologies to you, because I know I said in that video, I said Massachusetts governor, even though if you read in the description of the video, it was clearly Connecticut. All right, but it's the Connecticut governor who is conspiring with the pastor, at least attempted to conspired with those pastors to get those pastors to get the people, the blacks in Connecticut, to do something completely against their best interests. And I suspect that it's going to happen anyway. They'll pay them off. They'll go in the back rooms and they'll sit down and they'll talk and they'll offer them another $1 million or $2 million. And then all of a sudden the black preacher come out there and say, you know what? They didn't handle it the right way, but you know, we have worked it out. And you know, and at the end of the day, guys, we need to take the vaccines because, you know, we need our people to be safe and we want our people to be healthy. That's coming back that way. Mark it. Just watch. Watch and see. It's coming. They're going to pay them off in the back room, and then they're going to send their Jesse Jacksons and their L Sharptons, the 21st century Jesse Jacksons and L Sharptons, and they're all going to come out there, and they're going to tell you why it's in your best interest, and it's the right thing, and it's the American thing to do, because at the end of the day, you know, we want our people safe and our children protected. The lie's coming. Wait on it. You wait on it. Wait on it. It's coming. But let me end this video by reading that one more time, okay? I'm talking about this whole, you know, black church leaders react to COVID-19 vaccine. Last week, Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont remarked that he needed to work with black-led churches on education initiatives that would help black residents learn about COVID-19 vaccines. Some faith leaders say Lamont ignored the history of racial abuse in the medical industry. Of course he did. Remember Henrietta Leaks? I may think about, remember that? How that they used her body, her genes to come up with so many damn cures, it's not even funny, and her family never got a penny, nor did her family even know anything about it. They've been experimenting on us guys since Esau first got here and saw these beautiful species of human beings made in the image and the likeness of Yah. They were amazed when they saw our ancestors. They could not believe the swiftness, the strength of them, the beauty of their skin, the strength of their character, the infrastructure of the family, the value system, the laws and the statutes that they live by, the charity that they have for outsiders. They had never seen such a thing, to the point they couldn't resist us. They even sent their white women amongst us so that they could bear children, and now those children have become the new so-called Native American, $5 Indians, Elizabeth Warren. Why? To try to erase us by saying that they are us. But that's the majesty of what they saw when they came here. And then when they realized that our bodies healed quicker, our bodies could observe the heat better, that our bodies were made like big giant, you know, conservative, ecological, you know, tools and weapons, that we can endure anything. They began the torture and the experiments on us. And from that time to right now, they have been doing exactly that. And they are intending to do it one more final time with these vaccines. And if you're dumb enough and ignorant enough or blind enough, you know, or don't care enough about your ancestry and your family, then, you know, you're gonna go out there and take that vaccine. But, you know, like one of my nephew and a good brother of mine says, they can do whatever the hell they want to do. I'm talking about Brother Hammond. He knows what I'm talking about. He said, for as him and his house, they stand on the side of Yah. Joshua 24:15. I respect that brother for that. Brother got good insight, got a good eye, got a good wisdom about him. Praise Yah for that brother. Anyway, it goes on a little bit further. It says that, you know, using Henrietta Lacks that led to distrust of new treatments or studies among some in the black community. And I won't read the rest. We know about Tuskegee. We know about all these other, you know, we talked about medical apartheid, how they use our women's vaginas, how they use our men's brains, how they use our internal organs, how they sell our organs right now on the black market for millions and millions of dollars to save their wretched ass. We all saw the movie Get Out. Get Out might have seemed like that was a movie. Brother, that movie, that whole saying, art imitates life. Get Out is very similar to what's going on right now with Kanye West. He's in the second place. But it's going on with many of us as far as organ stealing. Get Out was about organ stealing, just so you know. The movie Get Out is about organ stealing. And they were stealing it from blacks. If you remember, all the characters who they had taken organs from were black people. Go back and look at the movie again. It was imitation. It was art imitating life. And some of you watched the movie. It was a good movie, but never understood. No, it was talking about you, and it was talking about what was going on. See, that's the way the Illuminati work. That's how the darkness works. The wicked one. They got to do it in plain. They got to hide it in plain sight. That's what secret societies is all about. That's what satanic is. That's what Luciferian is all about. You follow me? Remember that little eye shit they do? That's all symbolic of, you see it, but you don't see it. And right now, Judah, we need to open up our eyes and understand what's coming. Guys out here protesting, I'm telling you, you better understand what's going to happen to you sooner than later. You better come out from among them. We don't need to go out to no details. We don't need to go protest nobody about what happened to George Floyd. We just need to arm ourselves and be prepared whenever the police officers come up on us or anybody come up on us to bring us home. We need to be ready to defend ourselves at all costs, including losing your life. You lose your life, as Yeshua said, in this life, you gain eternal life in the next life. Again, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? If you're afraid to die, then you're afraid to live, my brothers and my sisters. And fear, Revelation 21 and 8, Revelation chapter 18, 21 and 18, if I got that right, it says, the fearful, the unbelieving, shall not enter the kingdom, and they shall be cast in the lake of fire with murderers, robbers, adulterers, homosexuals, and everyone else. So that cowardly stuff, that if you're afraid to die, you're on your way to hell. So you better learn how to get courage. You better learn how to have faith. You better learn how to trust the word of Yah. And understand, losing your life is not the worst thing that can happen to you if you're standing up for righteousness. And that's all I got for you. Talk to you soon. Signing off, DFG. Bye now.